it's Cavemas! Hi everyone, welcome to the Colour Cave where we like to play with art stuff, and it is the 12 days of Cavemas. Thank you so much for joining me today on what's going to be an epic 12 days. I hope you're all having a very relaxing festive period, and I would love it if you would join me for the rest of this video. Now, I promised myself, because I have called our event Cavemas, that I would have a line from the Cavemas song every day. So, on the first day of Cavemas, Jem gave to you a colour and chat for you to view. Let's get going. I've decided to start with the nameplate page. It's quite a good size, and I just thought it's a good way of getting into the Christmas spirit without tackling something that's absolutely monstrous. So I'm just going to zoom in and get started, and I've picked out a few colours to begin with. And I'm going to start with the things that I know what colours I want to make them, and that would be my holly berries and the little poinsettias as well. So I'm just going to get a bit of a sharpen on the go and we can get going. I figured this would be a nice way to ease ourselves into Cavemas by just sort of getting ourselves in the mood, as I said. And I'm really not feeling particularly Christmassy yet, she says yet. I think I am pre-recording this, but it is, you know, it's the middle of December. But I'm just not feeling festive. I've actually been on a bit of a downer this last sort of week or so, and I don't really know why, to be honest. I've been having a lot of technical problems with my work, and I've spent quite a bit of time just sort of sitting about twiddling my thumbs, so that may be part of it, I don't know. But I'm just feeling a bit bummed out, so I'm kind of hoping that this is going to cheer me up a little bit. Here's hoping. I think we all need a bit of Christmas colouring, surely. In terms of the festive season itself, I am not particularly organised. I usually am, but right now I'm just kind of ignoring everything, to be honest. And again, I think it's just because I've not been feeling all that great, you know, all that excited about it. So again, I'm just kind of hoping that in the next, you know, a few days that I sort of perk up a little bit. It's not like me that I love Christmas. I'm usually really excited about Christmas, but it's just an awful lot going on just now that's just kind of taking over a little bit. I'm sure we'll be absolutely fine though. I just wanted to take this opportunity while I'm rambling, as we all know I do, just to say thank you to everyone who left a comment about my race and my running. It was really nice to hear all the lovely things that you guys had to say, and I really appreciate your positive comments and your support. It was really, really nice. Running for me is something that I take as a privilege, because there was a spell where I couldn't run and I may not have been able to run afterwards. So I'm just grateful that I can do it, and the fact that it's admired or respected by other people is just really, really nice. So thank you all. You're all very, very nice people. You are lovely. So once again, in the world of Jem, Pip is taking precedence over everything because she is an absolute handful. She's getting really big now, and she is finally allowed outside. So we have been taking her on walks. We do want to lead train her, although normally when we walk our dogs they are not on leads. Obviously when they go to work as well they are not on leads, but it's important that she has the social skills to be able to go anywhere with us, and places like the vet, or if I have to go into the town, you know, if I have to take her to somewhere where there's a lot of people and possibly a lot of other dogs, I want her to be comfortable being on a lead and being able to behave herself like a little lady. So we're practicing the lead training just now, which is going okay. She's doing quite well. She's really excited on the way out for a walk because she knows that she's going to get to run about at some point, and on the way back she is very, very good indeed, and she does exactly as she's told. So we are definitely getting there. When we go out, I take the dogs to an empty field and I let Pip off her lead and I let them all run about together, take a tennis ball, you know, let them have a carry on and get the wind out of them, particularly with the collies. It's quite important, otherwise they will destroy the house because they need a lot of stimulation and a lot of exercise. And the best thing to do to keep them happy and keep them calm in the house is to run the legs off them, because that's what they're built to do, and just tire them out. And we used to talk about getting the wind out of them, and normally after we've run about for an hour or so, all of the dogs tend to just come home and sleep, so that's pretty good. And that goes for Pip as well. She is tiring really easily, obviously because she's small. She's not built up any sort of stamina or anything yet, and it's quite funny watching her, because when she starts to get tired, she just plonks herself down and just watches longingly the other two dogs, which is funny. But once she gets running, I was watching her the other day, sort of casting a critical eye over her, and she has got really long legs, even for the age and size that she is, and she seems to have quite a long stride, so she's quite quick. So I don't know whether she's going to be one of these long-legged sheepdogs that's fast just because of the ground that they can cover with one stride, or whether she's actually athletically inclined and she's going to be quick because she's, you know, she's got a better sort of running stance. And it's these kind of things that you look at when you have working dogs, and you look at it quite early on, and you're quite curious because you don't actually know until they get a bit bigger what they're actually going to be like. So it's quite interesting to watch her, but obviously we encourage her in it and make it a game, you know, we're not making her run. She's just doing it and trying to get the ball and things, so she's very cute, very, very cute. Oh, look at my holly leaves. Oh, this is making me feel better and more festive already. Honestly, see, just doing a colouring chat is really cheering me up. That's quite nice. I would also like to show you my festive nails. How awesome are those? I have snowflakes on my nails. They are very girly. I don't normally go that girly, but I thought, oh, well, it's the festive season. What the hell, why not? Ha. Right, I think I'm going to be methodical here, and I'm going to do all my holly leaves first. I think that's probably sensible, isn't it? There is something on this book. There is I don't know if you can see that in the camera. There's like a yellow mark on it. I have literally not opened this book. I think the pencil monster's been in again. Yeah, so Pip's taking up quite a lot of my time, although not as much as she was. She's starting to calm down now, and she's kind of losing her babiness now. She knows right from wrong, and she's quite happy to entertain herself with a toy or whatever for periods of the day. So she's not requiring as much attention from me, which is quite nice because it means I can get on with some work. And this weekend coming, as I say, I'm filming you know, a bit in advance here because it's Cavemas, and I am actually heading home to see my parents tomorrow. And I'm going down, my mum has a Christmas party to go to on Sunday, and it's one of these sort of ladies' night type things, and I just thought she was going for one of her Christmas dinners with her ladies, you know, some of the people she's friends with and whatnot. And I only found out last weekend that it is a proper, although I mean it is a Christmas party, what we would call a party night, you know, with to Christmas dinner and dancing and all the rest of it, but it is actually a ladies one, so it's ladies only, and apparently there are naked waiters. I was not aware of this, and had I known that, I probably wouldn't have gone. I'm not really into stuff like that, and a room full of screeching women that have been drinking Prosecco is not my idea of fun. Reference the last conversation that I had on my last colouring chat about the type of person that I am, and I kind of like, I'm happier in my own company. So it's really not appealing to me, and I'm not looking forward to it at all. So I've got that to look forward to on Sunday. Oh dear, but I've kind of, you know, I've paid for it and everything, so I said I was going to go anyway, so I'm still going to go. That's absolutely fine. Well, I remember as well, on the subject of Christmas, and more to the point, Cavemas, I need from you, my lovely viewers, some questions. I am going to have a sort of story time question and answer type video at some point over this Cavemas period. So if you have anything that you are curious about, whether it's to do with colouring or art or something in my personal life, there may be some questions that I don't answer, you know, if they're a bit a bit too personal maybe. But if you have ever wondered about anything, or there's anything that you're curious about, I would love it if you would leave me a comment down below, or you can ask me a question via the other social media, which will be on the end card and are also in the links in the description as well. So fire your questions towards me, and hopefully we can make quite a good video surrounding that, and as I say, a bit of a story time as well. I wanted to get some nice variation in these videos, and also as well just to give you, you know, some nice relaxation time over the festive period. If you are lucky enough to have some time off, that will keep you in the Christmas spirit and also give you a little bit of entertainment as well. So I'll look forward to comments from you with any questions or queries or curiosities that you have. Something like that. It's just a bit of fun, and I thought it would make a nice change to just always this sort of top-down view in the cave as well. So stop what you're doing, pause the video, just stop, come on, let me have it. Let's have them in the comments, please. Yes, so I would like to have a bank of questions to answer by Christmas Eve. So you have a few days to have a think about it if you can't think of anything off the top of your head. Okay, I'm just getting in here now. I'm quite enjoying this, these little holly leaves. They're starting to look quite cute. I seem to have been using a lot of just 2 pencil blends lately. I don't know whether I'm getting lazy or I don't know. Everything's really weird just now. I feel like it's a full moon or something. I'm just not myself at all. Anyway, 2 pencil blends are fine. I'm okay with that. I'm cool with that. Get this going. I'm gonna have to speed up a bit if I'm gonna get anything done. Just realised that's 10 minutes already and all I've done is colour in a couple of leaves. Come on, Jem. You can do it. So plans for Christmas. I have, aside from my ladies' day on Sunday, I have another Christmas party to go to, which is my ladies from my Weight Watchers class. We have a really small Weight Watchers class. There's more than one class that runs in our nearest town, and our nearest town is not a big town, so split between the other class, which is a morning class, and our class, which is the evening class. There's very few people go to the evening class in comparison. But there's a group of about maybe 15 or 20 of us that go all the time, and we kind of stick together. So we always go on a little Christmas night out, and last year we had so much fun. So I'm actually looking forward to that one, and it's somewhere where I can be myself and just enjoy the company, because the people that are there are, I consider them my friends. We all get on very well, and it's quite a sort of harmonious collective of people, so that's really nice, and that gives me something to look forward to, and that is on the 19th, so it's, you know, it's as close to Christmas as we can get, really. And the menu looks absolutely amazing. The place that we're going to is quite an interesting little place. You walk down this little alleyway, and there are a lot of alleyways where we stay, and it's just a kind of feature of the buildings, and they all have names. They're like, you know, little cobbled tunnels. And you walk down this alleyway, and the building is this low squat building, and it's a really old building, and it used to be the newspaper office, you know, like the editor's office, for many years. And with the advent of digital newspapers and things, it shut down eventually. So someone bought it, and they've turned it into this lovely little restaurant, and it's called The Press for obvious reasons. So it's not been open all that long. I think it's maybe been open a year, and the food in there is really good. So when I found out that they were doing Christmas dinners, I was like, yeah, I want to go there. So that'll be good fun, and it's quite a quirky little venue, so that makes it, you know, all that more interesting. So I've got that to look forward to as well. That's going to be pretty good. And then my folks are coming on, when are they? I don't think they've actually decided when they're coming yet, but they will turn up at some point the weekend just before the 25th. I don't think they've decided what day yet. The main thing that's sort of not holding them back, that's the wrong phrase, the main thing that they have to deal with, apart from their workload, because both of my parents still work even though they are of a pensionable age, is that they have to make sure that my grandmother is okay and she has everything she needs before they come up to me, because we stay quite a distance away, and my gran is used to my mum going in twice a week just to, you know, make her things to eat and take her for shopping and do a bit of cleaning and stuff. So mum wants to make sure that she's leaving her with everything that she needs, so that my uncles don't have a huge amount to do while my mum's not there. So they'll sort that out and then they shall head up, and they usually stay for about a week. I did ask my parents if they would stay past the 27th of the month, because last year on the 27th was when we had mist put down, and they left that day last year, and I just don't want them to leave on that day. I might be absolutely fine, you know, myself and Mr. Jem might be okay, but I just rather not repeat that pattern, especially if I'm maybe not feeling, you know, that great. It's always nice to have my mum and dad. So I'd ask them if they wouldn't mind, either they could go home a day early or, you know, go a day later, just please don't leave on that day, and they're absolutely fine about it. So they're going to hang around, which is really nice of them. But I think I've got a funny feeling it's going to be a difficult day, but I'll get through it. It'll be okay, especially when I've got Pup, you know, running about to entertain me. She'll keep me occupied. That'll be absolutely fine. So when my parents were up, they were visiting just the other weekend. I'm sure I mentioned this in my last colouring chat as well. I managed to get my father on his own, Papa Jem, and I asked him if he would be interested in doing a 3D pen video with me for the channel, and he has agreed. Which I was really pleased with that. So he has requested that when he makes something with the 3D pen that it's something practical. I was like, well, that's boring, but okay. But you have to remember that my dad is an engineer. So yeah, he's obviously going to want to try and be practical, and I said okay, that's fine. I've also said to him that if he doesn't want his face on camera, that is okay too, because I respect other people's privacy and I do not expect them to go against that just because I make YouTube videos. So I don't know whether he will show his face, but you will most certainly see his big hairy hands. So really looking forward to that, and that'll be quite an entertaining video for January, I think. It should be really good fun, because I think my dad thinks that the 3D pen stuff's really easy. And as you well know, it's not. If you haven't seen the video of me attempting 3D pen stuff, I'm going to put a card up here in the corner, and I shall link it down the bottom in the description. Go and have a giggle. When I was testing it out, I looked at, you know, kind of exercises and things to do just to get some practice in, and one of the exercises I tried looked like a really bad cheese toastie. So yeah, go and have a laugh at that after you've finished watching this, of course. So yeah, that was fun as well. I'm surprised he agreed to it, to be honest. But my dad's full of surprises, he really is. So hey ho, that'd be good. Now all I need to do is try and get my mum and Mr. Jem to do something, and then we could have like a full set of like family colour cave videos. Oh, that could be a whole new playlist, couldn't it? Interesting. In the grand tradition of my videos here at the Colour Cave, it would also not be the same if I didn't give you a running commentary on the weather. And as per usual, it is pitch black. It is incredibly windy. We've had some weather warnings for the wind, because we're getting the tail end of some sort of storm from somewhere else. I can't even remember where from. And we've been sort of told to watch what we're doing, and you know, there might be some travel disruption and things. So it's very windy outside, and it's to the point where things are kind of battering about, especially living on a farm. There's a lot of gates and like big metal doors and stuff, so there's a lot of sort of clanging and clattering that goes on, and every time there's a loud noise, Pip starts to bark. So I think she's a wee bit frightened. She is barking, which I kind of thought she would be, because she's quite a noisy little dog anyway. She's quite chatty, and sometimes she does it for protection because she has started protecting her territory already, but I've also noticed that she does it when she's frightened as well. So we're just trying to teach her what to be frightened of and what, you know, what things that aren't, that, so, you know, like you don't need to be frightened of them, and she's doing pretty well with that as well. So so if you hear the random barking starts, number one, it will give me a heart attack, so I'll jump before you will, but I'm just warning you just in case, because there's not a lot I can do about it. And what's happening is she starts to bark, which sets Woo off, my Jack Russell. Woo's old now, she'll be 14 in April, so she doesn't hear quite as well as she used to, but when she does, she generally, for a Jack Russell, she's not yappy, but if she hears someone at the door, she will bark until she goes and sees who it is, and when she sees who it is, she stops, and that is the only time that Tilly barks. But what's happening now is Pip is barking and Woo is hearing Pip bark, so she thinks there's someone at the door and she runs away through to the door and starts barking, and there's nobody there. You never get a peep out of Jock unless he is chasing sheep. He will bark at sheep, but he does not bark in the house, and he has started barking as well, but he's not, he's kind of wooffing, you know, it's like woof woof rather than an actual bark. And I thought, oh great, I went from the house being really quiet when Miss passed away because we couldn't hear anything, so you know, someone could knock on the door and you wouldn't have any barking, to all of a sudden I'm back to having 3 dogs barking. And when your house is quiet, you know, bearing in mind that I work in the cave as well, this is my workspace during the day, so I am here sitting at a computer doing what I do, and everything's all nice and quiet, and then all of a sudden this sort of cacophony of barking starts, and it makes you jump about 3 feet in the air, and I swear blind, I don't know why I haven't had a heart attack before now. It's ridiculous. But anyway, we are working on that, and I'm sure we will get over it. As I say, she's learning quite quickly, so, and she's doing as she's told, you know, she's pretty good most of the time. So that is just perseverance and patience. I'm just, this is the first, I think I said this already, this is the first page that I've coloured in this book. I've never opened this book before, although it's been sitting on my shelf for a couple of months. And the paper's really weird. It's not like Johanna's other books. And one of the things about it, I just want to show you, if you don't have this book, is the images are single-sided. And she's put, well, she's put like a sort of pattern on the back of the pages, so it means that you can use alcohol markers on them, and if it bleeds through, it doesn't really matter, but she still made the blank pages look pretty. And also as well, all of these pages are perforated. I don't know if you can see that in the light there, so you can actually tear them out, which is really nice as well. So it is a little bit different to the other books that are of the you know, the same size, and the paper is slightly smoother, and again, I think that's probably to accommodate for, you know, if you want to use markers and the such. Like I think I might have been better with my polychromos pencils in here, but I don't really want to colour with my polychromos pencils. I'm not in the mood. God, I'm so moody just now. What's wrong with me? Anyway, so yeah, it's taking the pencil quite nicely though. It's not, you know, it's not horrible or anything like that. I just find it a bit strange because it feels more like the paper in Ivy and Enki Butterfly than in, say, Enchanted Forest or Magical Jungle. Magical Jungle, is that what it's called? Yeah. It's just that little bit smoother. It's got a bit more of a sheen to it. But I say, well, the Prismas are very soft anyway, so it's okay. It's absolutely fine. So I was having the discussion with Mr. Jem the other night about gifts for Christmas, and we have agreed to not spend as much as we normally would on each other, just because we've had a lot of other things to deal with this year between the wedding and our honeymoon and Pip as well. We just didn't, you know, we don't want to dig into savings or anything anymore after such a big expenditure, so we're keeping the gifting to a minimum this year, which is absolutely fine. I've had an absolutely amazing second half of the year. I mean, the wedding was perfect and it was worth every penny. It really was. I wouldn't change anything. So the money was just better placed elsewhere. But as per usual, I have most of my Christmas shopping done. I have a few little bits and pieces that I still need to get, but it's nothing drastic. And as per usual, Mr. Jem has all of his Christmas shopping to do. I will have to just sit down and wrap everything one night. That's the one thing. But I tend to do it all in one go, like I buy everything and then I just sit down and I have a wrap-a-thon. So what do you guys do? Do you like to wrap things as you get them? You know, I know some of you will have children, and if you leave things lying about unwrapped, then prying eyes soon find them, don't they? I think it's really interesting the different ways that people do it. I know that my friend who has 3 children, she doesn't even keep the kids' presents in the house. She takes them to her friend's house, and her friend, who doesn't have any children, keeps them in a cupboard for her so that the kids absolutely cannot find them and start snooping about, because that's what they do. It's funny though, as a child, I don't know about everyone else, again I would love to hear, I never went looking for presents because I never wanted the surprise spoiled. I liked, you know, not knowing what I was going to get and that excitement on Christmas Day. Obviously, once I was old enough to know that Santa wasn't real. I'm just whispering that in case any of you have got kids in the background. But yeah, I was one of these kids that even if I found something, I wouldn't, you know, if I found a carrier bag by accident or there was a wrapped present, I just wouldn't go near it. I wasn't interested. But my parents used to put one present under the tree a few days before Christmas when I was young, and it was basically just a teaser present, and it's so that I could have a feel and, you know, have a little guess, and it was just a little bit of excitement. I'm just having a look at this here. Okay. So that's just me. That's what I was like. I didn't want my surprise ruined. I think with these little holly berries here, I'm going to use a white gel pen to put in a little bit of shine on them. It's quite a wee area, and I really want to start trying to preserve highlights and preserve the weight of the paper. So yeah, I think that'll be easier way of doing things. So anyway, that is Christmas for me anyway. Stuff that's happening with the channel, I suppose there's a few things I could talk about the channel. And I'm sure by now you have all seen the new logo and banner. That was something that I've been kind of working on for a little while. And I just feel now that having reached, I think as it stands just now, I think I'm about 650 subscribers. I'm actually optimistic that the 1,000 subscriber thing is actually a possibility. And for those of you that aren't aware of the significance of that, I was going to say Facebook there. Oh my god, no, not Facebook. YouTube have a policy in place whereby you have to meet a certain criteria before you can make money from your channel. Now, I have never started out with the intention of making money from the channel. I do it because I enjoy it, and you have to be like that, because the number of hours that you put in, if you're trying purely to make money, then you're going to have a pretty miserable existence, because it takes a long time and a lot of hard work for you to earn enough to make a living out of it, kind of thing. That is never the intention. However, this criteria is that you have to have 1,000 subscribers and you have to have 240,000 view minutes. So collectively, over everyone that's looked at your videos, you have to have 240,000 view minutes in the last 12 months. So after that, you are able to apply for monetization, which is where they let you put ads in your videos, and that generates some sort of revenue. And as I say, I never even thought there would be anywhere near that many people that would actually watch what I'm doing and watch my channel. And as time goes on and I'm sort of gathering subscribers, I'm like one of these big sticky rollers that you use to take lint off your clothes. I just seem to sort of dawdle along and all these people sort of stick to me, which is really nice. I mean, it's lovely, and you guys are all so nice. All my subscribers are so lovely, and you're such a supportive and and happy bunch of people, which is great. And that you know, that does so much for me. It really does. It makes me tick. And I always want to try and give as much as I can. Obviously, I'm giving you content, and you know, that's kind of the point of it. That's a given. But I just think that, you know, for all the support and everything that you give me, I would really like to give back as much as I can. And with that, there's a price to that. And, you know, I've done a little giveaway, and, you know, there's loads of things that I want to do. And when you guys ask me about certain art products or certain things that you want to see, I have to, you know, there's a limit to what I can do, because number one, I'm self-employed, so you know, time is money kind of thing. I only have so many hours that I can spend doing these videos, and it is a lot of work. Like, honestly, I cannot stress to you how much work it is to put together a YouTube video. It is so much work, but it's enjoyable. And when you take into account that time aspect, and also you do have to buy things. I mean, you can't just do everything for nothing, particularly when it comes to art videos. I mean, there are certain things that I would buy anyway. You know, there's art supplies that I would always be purchasing regardless of whether I had a YouTube channel or not. But in order to keep things fresh and keep the content, you know, good, you do have to, you know, there is a sort of monetary outlay there. So by qualifying for monetization, even if it brought in, you know, like £20, £30 a month, that would make a huge difference to, number one, the type of videos that I could put out, and number two, the type of content would change, because I would have more maneuverability to try different things. There would be more variety, more variation, and that's something to get excited about. I mean, it's something that I like. But even the likes of designing a logo, I mean, I did that myself from scratch. And there are companies out there are lots of web-based companies who will, you know, design you a logo, but it all costs money. It's all money, money, money. So it's all about trying to find a balance. But the prospect of having 1,000 subscribers is exciting in itself. I mean, I was gobsmacked that I got to 100, and because I literally did nothing to advertise what I was doing or, you know, hype it up. I just started putting some videos out there. So you know, it's just so humbling to be in this position anyway. But I'm starting to get a bit of faith in myself now, and I'm thinking, well, you know, maybe I can get to 1,000 subscribers. Maybe I can make you know, an extra few pence to put back into the channel, and, you know, make it super duper, have more giveaways, have better giveaways, and, you know, just do more exciting stuff. So it's something I'm thinking about, and I'm kind of looking forward to getting there. If I get there, I'm hoping I will. I really am. And it's just such a rewarding thing to do, and I don't mind the work. And as I say, you don't really run a YouTube channel if you're just planning to, you know, to make it big, because it's very difficult to do. And it made me laugh, actually. I was watching one of these. There's a channel for YouTube creators, so it's a channel for your channel kind of thing, and there's some really experienced guys there that, you know, give you the latest advice on how Facebook's changing. Here I go again. On how YouTube's changing, and, you know, the things that are coming in and things to be able to do and stuff like that. And I always watch their videos because the stuff's really, really helpful. And they were saying that about 1% of YouTube creators just become sort of overnight successes, and everyone else basically has to work for it. And that 1%, they call them unicorns. They actually call them unicorns. And that's just people that sort of, you know, are lucky, and just sort of success falls into their lap, and they become these sort of overnight sensations with like 10 million subscribers. But what they're saying is the stark reality is that that's not going to happen to you. So, you know, I'm glad I'm not that type of person though. But just because I do this for enjoyment doesn't mean that I couldn't put to good use some sort of income from it. However small that may be, every little helps, as the saying goes. So that's kind of, you know, I have other plans for the channel. I am building things up gradually. You see, apart from the logo, you may have noticed there are end cards coming into my videos now, and there'll be more changes to come. The more we grow, you know, the more that will come in. And I said this in a video, I think it was a while back, I think it was maybe August time, that I feel like as the number of subscribers and views goes up, I feel as if I have to up my game as well. And I think that's only fair, that if you guys are, you know, loyal followers and you know, you do watch quite a lot of my videos, I think it's only fair that the quality of the channel and the content goes up accordingly. So you know, I'm always going to thrive to make things as good as I can. And if there comes a point where I can't for whatever reason, I will always be very transparent about it. I will always be very open and honest, and I will let you guys know. But yeah, I've got some quite exciting things in store. So that's kind of what I want to work towards. So let's get to 1,000 subscriber, guys. Let's see how we go. I've just noticed that the reflection of my light is actually shining off the pencil. You can't necessarily see what I'm doing, but my flowers are looking nice now. We are getting there. So I've written down my list of Cavemas videos, and my goodness, what a collection of videos it is. And do you know, that way I kind of looked at it and thought, oh, Jem, what are you doing? Are you mad? But I am a great planner, and I am an organised person, and I am confident that this is going to go incredibly well, and I will have everything up on time and all in good stead and good setting for you guys to enjoy. So just keep your fingers crossed that it all goes according to plan. Yeah, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. I haven't bought very many art supplies recently, and I was randomly on eBay the other day, which is not somewhere I tend to frequent. But Mr. Jem had asked me specifically for something for his Christmas present that he had seen on there, so I wanted to go and have a look at it and just see what it was, and maybe I could get it somewhere else cheaper. So I went on to eBay, and there was a lady selling some pencils, and they were Derwent pencils. And one of the things about my pencil collection is that I don't actually own a set of normal, when I say normal, I mean standard colouring pencils from the Derwent range. And I kind of realised that when the scroller box came with the Lightfast pencils in, and it's nuts because they are a British company, and Derwent stuff is quite reasonably priced for us here in the UK compared to some of the other brands that come from the States or whatever. So this lady was selling a set of Derwent pencils, and she had listed them twice. I was watching them, you know, I just kept an eye on them because I was curious to see how much they were going to go for. And she listed them twice and they didn't sell. And I don't know whether she's trying to raise money for Christmas presents or, you know, what her idea is. However, so I've contacted her just to see if she is willing to sell them to me at a slightly lower rate because they are not selling on eBay. So I'm waiting to see if she's going to reply to me. It's got to be worth asking. I really can't justify spending money on pencils just now, but it might be too good an opportunity to pass up. So I am waiting eagerly for her reply to see if she's going to get back to me. The worst thing that's going to happen is she's going to say no. But yeah, a parcel came the other day, and Mr. Jem said to me, I hope that's not more pencils you're buying. And I was like, I haven't bought pencils for ages. And he just gave me the face, like the, you know, the yeah right face. But I genuinely haven't. I haven't even bought replacement pencils, let alone any actual pencils. But it's one of those things where, as I say, the financial burden has been considerable in the second half of this year, and I am not made of money. I've had to, reluctantly, but I have had to draw a line on what, you know, what's getting spent where. And I do have a lot of art supplies, and you know, I don't buy things for the sake of buying them. Again, you guys know my feeling on that. I buy stuff that I know that I'm going to use, and anything that I have that doesn't get used, I will gift it to someone, or perhaps keep it for a giveaway for you guys. That might be nice. And I don't let things sit in cupboards or drawers unused and languishing away when I've spent money on them, because that's just not the way the game works for me. So I think my husband has an entirely, you know, wrong view on me. I really do. But yeah, I'd really quite like to try out some Derwent pencils. If I don't hear back from this lady, it might be something that I do next year, maybe try a set out, because I'm quite set in my ways with my pencils. I like my polychromos and I like my Prismacolors, and I don't really use anything else unless I have people visiting. I do have 2 nephews and a niece, and you know, if I've got people coming to see me, then I'm not going to crack out my, you know, my good pencils, especially if it's kids. That's just not going to happen. So the Crayolas are there, which I use sometimes, but generally I'm quite happy using these pencils. So it's one of those things where it would be nice to try something else just out of curiosity, not necessarily to say, oh, I'm going to buy a whole set of them. But it's important to keep trying out new things anyway, for sure. Okay, I think I have finished all my leaves. Oh, we're looking Christmassy. I'm going to keep these I'm going to keep these green pencils to the side because I think I'm going to use them up here on my Christmas tree. And I've got 3 colours. After me saying that I'm only using 2 pencil blends, I have 3 colours for my poinsettias. I have to give these a bit of sharpen. Speaking of nieces and nephews, oh my goodness. My niece's birthday, hello Charlotte if you're watching, I hope you liked your birthday present. My niece's birthday was the beginning of December, and she had seen my dad, and my dad had asked her what she would like for her birthday. Now, Charlotte is young, she is under 10, and my dad had a very grown-up conversation with her about what she would like for her birthday. So he had written it down, and when him and my mum came to visit, Dad had said, oh, I need to go and get this for my niece for her birthday. So I'm looking at what he's written down, and I was like, what is a poopsie surprise? This is what was written on the piece of paper, and I'm like, Dad, are you sure you wrote that down properly? And he said, yeah. He says, you know, I got her to check it to make sure it was the right thing. He says, I need to make sure it's the right one because it's quite expensive. And I was like, what is a poopsie surprise when it's at home? So anyway, we looked on the internet just to see how much they were and where would be the cheapest place to get one, because my mother and I were going out into the town anyway, and my dad just wanted us to pick it up. He didn't want to order it because our post is really, really screwed up just now. So that was fine. And one of the kind of bigger toy stores that's in our area had them, and they were kind of the same price as everywhere else. £50. £50. Not 15, 50. And I was like, wow, this must be like a really amazing toy for this kind of money. So that was fine. We knew what we were looking for. I don't know if you can hear Mr. Jem coming past in his tractor. He's been away delivering carrots today. Yeah, so we knew what we were looking for, and we went into the toy store, and this place is huge. It's like wall-to-wall toys, and I was saying to my mum, oh, I'm never going to find this in here. So we started looking, and we found it quite quickly, but it was in this box, and you couldn't see inside the box, so you couldn't see the toy. And we got to the checkout, and the lady behind the checkout was really nice, and she was quite chatty. So we were saying to her, you know, what's the deal with this toy? And she rolled her eyes, and she said, it's basically an oversized My Little Pony that poops glittery slime. And I just looked at her and I looked at my mum, and my mum burst out laughing and I burst out laughing. And I said, really? And she said, yes, really. She said, toilet humour apparently is all the rage with kids this year. Like everything's either slimy or poopy or farty or, you know, all these things. And I just sort of shook my head. I was like, right, okay. And apparently these are really, really popular. Like the kids want these things. And so that was fine. I just thought, oh, okay, you know, obviously I'm getting old. I don't understand any of this. And my father wrapped it up and he took it to my niece for her birthday, and she was so excited that she just about screamed the house down. So it went down an absolute treat. And my brother sent me a picture of my niece holding this poopsie surprise, and it looks like a My Little Pony on steroids. That's the only way I can describe it. Goodness me. It's quite freaky looking, and yeah. So that was the poopsie surprise, but I just thought, oh wow, I'm so out of touch with the kids now. I thought I was kind of down with the kids. Clearly I'm not. Clearly not. So as it stands just now, I haven't seen my niece. I will be seeing her when I go down to see my parents tomorrow. So she hasn't got my gift, and my gift for her birthday is not nearly as exciting as Papa Jem's gift. But I'm hoping that she still likes it just the same. Mine's a bit more traditional. There's no pooping unicorns. Yeah, so that's the story of the poopsie surprise. It's just nuts. And £50, I couldn't actually get over that. I really couldn't get over that. But when we were in the toy store, we were looking, and the kids' toys are really expensive now. It's not, you know, you don't buy things at £10 and £20. It's like 50, 70. I know that Lego has always been expensive. It's always been an expensive gift. Even when I was small, Lego was expensive, and that's kind of just like a given. But it seems like all the toys are like that now. And I'm just like, you know, I can understand now how parents end up spending so much money at Christmas. If you've got, you know, maybe 2 or 3 children, even if you only get them a few small things each, that's still an awful lot of money, and that's, you've not even fed anyone yet. So yeah, I can understand why Christmas is an expensive business. So I'm quite lucky, really. I get away with buying very little, actually. Mr. Jem is not a great one for celebrations of Christmas and birthdays, in the sense that he never asks for anything. And when I ask him what he wants, he's one of these annoying people that says, oh, I don't want anything, you know, just get me something small. And then in the next breath, he's put a hole in his good jacket or something like that, you know. He's one of them. So he is very difficult to buy for. Thankfully, I know him well. And over the years, I have got to know what he likes and doesn't like, and I'm usually reasonably good at getting him something that he likes, or what he would much rather have something he needs, though. Again, he's being a farmer, he's a very practical person. I like to have something to play with, and that usually extends to art supplies, surprisingly. But yeah, I like to have some sort of toy to play with on Christmas Day, and as well as having practical things, because I'm a practical person too. But as long as there's something, my mum gets me the little puzzles from Mensa, you know, the brain teaser puzzles. So they're kind of like, the one I got last year was I think it's a Chinese secrets box, and you have to slide all the panels and move them about to get inside the box. And I really like stuff like that. I'm right into that. So I had that on Christmas Day last year. I had a really sore back on Christmas Day last year, and I was laid on the floor, and I remember I was laid by the fire with this box, trying to figure out how to get into it. And I did little known to me that my family were timing me, and it took me 23 minutes to get into it. So there you go. That was the secret box. But I love stuff like that. I'm really into that. I had a Rubik's Cube when I was small, and I didn't figure out how to do it myself. I was taught to do it by my high school sweetheart's older brother, who was incredibly brainy. He was a very, very clever young man, and he had worked it out for himself. And again, this was in the days before we had Google. You couldn't just like go and watch a video on it. And I asked him to teach me how to do it, because it's a series of sequences. It's very mathematical, and it's just remembering the different sequences and the different patterns that you can use. So he taught me how to do it, And he had his time, you know, you could mix up a Rubik's Cube and give it to him and he would complete it in something stupid like under 3 minutes. I can't remember what it was, but it was very quick for, you know, for being able to do it. And he did it every time, no problem, because he used the, you know, the proper sequence. So one night we decided we were just going to mess him up, and we swapped the stickers on 2 of the squares, you know, so they would never match up. And we had to stick them down really hard with some glue because they'd curled up at the edges where we tried to pull them off. And anyway, we gave it to him one night and we just sat and watched him, and he sat for about, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes, and you could just see him getting more and more frustrated. It was really, really funny. And eventually he just stood up really abruptly, and he walked to the back door of the conservatory, which is where we all used to hang out, and he just opened the conservatory door and threw it out the conservatory door, and that was it. And it was never spoken of again. It was a number of months. We decided to let him stew. And a number of months later we told him that we had swapped the stickers round, and he was not very happy at all. I think he thought he'd lost his mojo. It was incredibly funny, but it was also quite cruel at the same time. So yeah, Rubik's Cubes, don't swap the stickers round, it's not fair. But I don't know if I could still do a Rubik's Cube just now. I think I've still got one. I think it's in a box upstairs in our spare room. But it's been a long time since I've done one. Maybe see if I can still do it. I keep getting my colours mixed up here. I'm doing them in the wrong order. This is what happens when I start to talk and I'm not talking about what I'm colouring. Easily confused, that's what it is. I had a really bad spell of sleep just there, and I think that's maybe one of the reasons I'm kind of a bit out of kilter. Some of you know I don't sleep well anyway. I don't sleep a lot, and I've suffered with insomnia since I was about 23, but it comes in episodes. It's not you know, an every night thing for me. And just this last week I've hit a really, really bad patch of sleep again, and it gives me a sore head, and it kind of makes me quite irritable and sort of sluggish and unmotivated. I need to stop saying but it also affects your concentration as well, and that's where I'm noticing it most, especially when I'm sitting doing videos. It's very difficult for me to multitask when I'm really tired and make a good job of it. So that's probably why I am not really firing all cylinders. So I apologise, because there'll be a lot of M's in this video, you will notice it, and because it's a colouring chat I am not editing it out, I just leave it as it is. So please shut your ears to them and try and ignore them if it's something that irritates you. I do always try my best not to say M too much, because I know it's something that I'm guilty of, but I am just very, very tired at the moment. We have a lot of heifers calving just now, and a heifer is a first time mum, so she's never had a baby before, and we calve them first so that we can give them the attention or any extra help that they need. Some of them aren't particularly maternal, and you have to not teach them to be maternal, but you kind of have to help them along a little bit because they don't really know what to do with their babies. So Mr. Jem's like going out in the middle of the night to make sure that if anybody's, you know, was looking like they might be giving birth, that we can just check up on them. So our household is very disjointed at the moment, and it's kind of not helping. And he has been disappearing out at 2, 3, 4 in the morning. Oh, there I go again, sorry. So that's, and it's like knocking my sleeping pattern as well, so it's kind of like just kind of getting through it. But we've timed it this way deliberately so that they will all be finished calving by Christmas, and Mr. Jem can have a bit of a rest at Christmas before the cows start calving. So the cows have all had calves before, and they generally get on better second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh time round than the first time mums, and they don't need as much attention. The rate of assisted calvings drops dramatically for a second calver, but there are lots of steps that we take to make things as easy as possible for them. We have incredibly high welfare standards, and I think we are, because we are a sort of younger generation of farmer as well, and I'm not saying that the older generation don't value animal welfare, that's not what I'm saying at all, please don't take that the wrong way, but we are a different breed of farmer, and we have a lot more compassion for our animals, whereas for many, many years a lot of farmers just looked at their animals and saw them as pound signs, and we are not like that at all. So there's lots of things that we do, and as agricultural education has advanced the same way as everything else, you know, we've learned more about husbandry and stockmanship. And one of the things that we do with our heifers, so that's, you know, the first time mums, is we make sure that the bull that is put in with them, we don't artificially inseminate anything. That's just more on principle than anything else. But we use a bull that is genetically proven to sire smaller calves, and that is for ease of giving birth, so it puts a lot less pressure on them and on their actual bodies as well. It makes them easier to calf. And the breed that we have, which is Aberdeen Angus, they are generally quite small calves anyway, and they are also very good at getting up on their feet quickly and, you know, instinctually wanting to find something to eat. So they are a great breed anyway, and that's, you know, something that we've engineered so that it is easier for our new mums to get to grips with. So there is your farming lesson for today. The first calf that was born was a boy, and he's quite big now. I mean, he's a couple of weeks old now, and he was big when he was born for you know, an Aberdeen Angus calf. He's very, very big, and he's very fuzzy as well, and he kind of looks like a toilet brush, you know, like his fur sticks straight out in every direction. And he's a friendly little thing. He's been coming up and saying hello and one thing and another. He's getting quite brave now, so he has been a source of much entertainment. And he has grey hairs that have sprouted on his face. Now, Aberdeen Angus cattle are black. They're always black. You do get a recessive gene that throws out a red one every now and then, but they shouldn't have any grey on them. And he has this grey sort of patch across his nose, so it must be a throwback to, I don't know, somebody else. But it makes him look as if he's constantly got milk all over his snout, you know, like he's been in suckling. And so we've called him Pigpen. If anybody knows who Pigpen is, I'm sure some of you do. He always looks really sort of messy and untidy and unclean, even though it's just the markings on his face. But he's lovely. So he's got quite personality on him, has Pigpen. So we're kind of enjoying that part of it, which we usually do, to be fair. It's good fun. I like it. It's one of the nicer parts of farming. I feel as if I've been colouring these petals in for ages. I'm trying to tilt the book so that you can still see what I'm colouring, you know, so that light doesn't reflect off it. That seems to be quite a good angle there. Going for it. Just talking earlier about not sleeping and having sore heads. I can feel a sore head coming on just now, starting at the back of my, like the base of the nape of my neck, and eventually it will travel up round the side of my head, on the right hand side of my head, and then it will start to travel across my eye, and then I will have a migraine. So I am going to preempt it once I've finished filming this video, which I'm going to run for maybe like another 5 minutes or so, and then I am going to go and take some migraine tablets to stop that happening, because the last thing I want is a monster of a headache when I have to drive a long distance tomorrow. I am looking forward to seeing my grandmother tomorrow as well. I haven't seen her in a good few months, and I really, really want to go and spend time with her. So that is what I am doing tomorrow afternoon. And she's kind of en route when I go down to my parents. She stays slightly north of them, so it's handy for me to go in and spend some time with her. So I'm going to make her some lunch and just kind of catch up with her. I do speak to her all the time via her iPad, you know, message her on one thing and another, but it's just nice to see her face to face as well. Make sure she's doing okay. Make sure she's still awesome. Get all my reds out. These reds are lovely. Really enjoying these colours all together. They look pretty good. So I would be interested to hear, and I know some of you maybe don't celebrate Christmas, So I would love to hear what you do, if you do anything at this time of year, or are you perhaps in an area that predominantly celebrates Christmas? How do you deal with that, or what do you do? Do you join in, or do you have like a half and half? In our house, as I say, you know, the area is predominantly Christian, and you know, people celebrate Christmas, and I'm not particularly religious. My dad was brought up Catholic because he's Italian and that's what you do, and my husband's family are Catholic, they are Irish, so that figures as well. So you know, that's where the whole Christmas thing comes from me. But really for me it's about having the time together as a family. That's, to me, if you ask me what Christmas is, that's what Christmas is for me. It's everyone together, lots of nice food together as well, and that's just what I define it as. Everything else can, you know, can be left out of it and it would still be Christmas as far as I'm concerned. The decorations and everything, they're just fun. I mean, you've seen my hat, come on. Do love a good Christmas hat. Oh, here's Pip coming. Hi Pippy, are you alright? She's wagging her tail. She's getting so big now. She's putting on weight really quickly. She's not fat, but she's just growing really quickly. And everyone keeps saying, oh, I think she's going to be a really big dog. And I'm like, I really hope not, because big dogs tend to be heavy and then they're not quick. And for gathering up sheep, that is not what you want. You need a quick dog. So, but our mum and dad, when we went to pick her, we saw mum and dad, and they weren't particularly big dogs. They were quite fine featured things. They were quite slim. So I don't know what that's all about. So definitely a throwback to the grandparents, I think, if she's going to be a big dog. One of the things I'm going to do in January, once all the festivities are over, is I'm going to continue on with this nameplate theme. And I've kind of got a thing about it, and I think it's probably a bit weird. I just think it's quite impolite to have coloured in a colouring book that has a nameplate page and not actually colouring the nameplate. I kind of liken it to, you know, not knocking before walking into someone's house. That probably sounds really stupid. And I have a lot of books where I have coloured at least a page, maybe more than a page, and I haven't done the nameplate. So in January, I'm going to start a nameplate colouring chat, and I'm going to go through all my books and make a point of colouring in the nameplate. So I would love for you to join me in that if you also have the same books or fancy doing it along with me. And what I do is, when I finish one, I will show you a selection of books that I've still got the nameplate to do in, and you guys can pick the next one that I tackle. That sounds like good fun to me, and I always appreciate your input. So that is something that I would really like to do. So if you'd like to join in that, you can keep an eye out for those videos come the new year. Okay, I'm going to stop there because that's us. We're probably about an hour by now, I think. Let's have a little bit of a zoom out. And that is starting to look quite festive. What I'll do is I will finish this page off, and once I'm finished, I will add into the end of the video the finished article, just so that you can see it in its entirety. I hope you've enjoyed listening along and colouring whatever it is you're colouring as well. If you are doing this nameplate page, I would love to see it. You can post it on any of my social media, which will be in the end card and are also in the description down below. And here is the finished article. As you can see, I have put in a little bit of sparkly stuff there. I used a Wink of Stella pen, and it's such a subtle glittery effect, and you don't really see it unless you're under quite strong artificial light, but you can see it twinkling away there. In addition to my Prismacolor pencils, which I've used for all the other areas of colour apart from the gold. The gold is just a Uniball Signal gel pen in gold, and that is pretty much it. I put a couple of highlights on the baubles down here with white gel pen, but it doesn't really show up all that well. However, I am pretty happy with the finished article, and for those of you that are curious, this is how it looks. Thanks again for watching, and don't forget to leave me a question in the comments for an upcoming Cavemas video, and we can have some fun with that. You can also check out some of my other videos here, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't done already. We'll see you soon in the cave. Bye for now, guys.